If I had understood what that music box really was, I would have never opened it. Not because it was dangerous, danger is part of my job, but because it was a threshold that only opens one way. And how the hell I woke up in a building full of people after falling asleep in a place that had been abandoned since the early 80s. Well, let's not jump ahead. I arrived at Red Lantern Lodge shortly after noon. The place wasn't marked on most modern maps, and the narrow Appalachian road leading to it felt more like a forgotten driveway than anything meant for traffic. 3 days earlier, a young couple, Emily Carter and Daniel Brooks, vanished during a road trip. Their Subaru was found here, doors unlocked, belongings untouched, keys still in the ignition, but no footprints, no signs of struggle, no indication of where they went after pulling over. The lodge itself had a history that made even seasoned investigators pause. In November 1979, every guest and every staff member vanished in a single night. 16 people. No blood, no signs of forced entry, no signs of evacuation or panic. The investigation dragged on for years and produced nothing. Not a lead, not a suspect, not a body. Authorities shut the place down in 1980. Locals avoided it afterward, though every few years a hiker or drifter was reported missing somewhere in the woods around the property. No one officially connected those disappearances to the lodge. Until now. The building looked like it hadn't been touched since the Carter administration. The wooden balcony sagged, siding peeled off like rotting bark. One of the upstairs windows had collapsed inward. The Subaru waited near the entrance, and the details immediately bothered me. The driver's seat was pushed too far back for Daniel. The windshield had frost wiped from the inside. And the gravel around the cars showed two distinct types of footprints, one steady, one irregular. As if someone stumbled or resisted, I logged everything, took photos, and finally walked toward the entrance. Inside, the lodge was exactly what decades of abandonment create. Stale air, warped floorboards, collapsed ceiling panels, a reception desk half rotten from moisture. A guest logbook lay open. Last entries dated November 14th, 1979, the night before the disappearance. Normal names, normal notes. Nothing that hinted at a mass vanishing. I checked the first floor, then moved upstairs. Most rooms were locked or swollen shut. Others were empty shells, no furniture, no personal items, no clues indicating Emily or Daniel had ever entered the building. Then I reached room 12. The door wasn't forced open, just slightly ajar. Inside, the decay matched the rest of the lodge. Except for one thing, a music box sat on the dresser. New, polished, dust-free, as out of place in that room as a smartphone in a museum exhibit. I examined it carefully, no fingerprints, no scratches, no markings. There was no logical reason it should be here. Maybe the missing couple left it. Maybe someone else passed through recently. Maybe it had nothing to do with anything. But I've learned something in this line of work. Objects out of place deserve attention. I opened it. A soft, simple melody played. Ordinary, not unsettling. The kind of tune you'd hear from a child's keepsake. And then a wave of exhaustion hit me. Sudden, heavy, undeniable. Probably the dust, or lack of ventilation, or the fact that I'd skipped lunch. I sat on the bed to steady myself. Closed my eyes for a second longer than I meant to, and that was enough. Everything went dark. When I woke up, something was wrong before I even opened my eyes. The air was clean, ventilated. The faint smell of detergent hung around me. I sat up sharply. Room 12 wasn't decayed anymore. It wasn't old. It was clean. Curtains intact, furniture polished. Walls freshly painted, bed neatly made. Exactly as it must have looked in 1979. My jacket was draped over a chair I definitely hadn't used. My boots were arranged neatly beside the bed. Someone had been in the room while I was unconscious. Someone who didn't steal anything, just moved it. I checked my pockets. Badge, gone. Phone, gone. Not taken, just removed. I walked to the door, opened it, and stepped into the hallway. And the hallway wasn't abandoned at all. It looked alive, lit, clean, quiet, but not empty. I wasn't alone. I stepped into the hallway expecting the illusion to collapse, for the freshly painted walls to peel away, for the lights to flicker out and reveal the rot I'd walked through earlier. But nothing changed. The Red Lantern Lodge looked fully operational, not modern. More like it had been sealed in 1979 and reopened 5 minutes ago. Halfway down the hall, a man in a beige windbreaker locked his door. He gave me a polite nod, as if guests in this corridor were the most ordinary thing in the world. He walked toward the stairs, humming under his breath. Nothing about him looked threatening. What bothered me was how normal he looked here. I followed him downstairs. The lobby was populated, a woman reading a magazine, a teenage boy unfolding a map, an older couple discussing hiking trails. And behind the reception desk, a man in a burgundy vest, posture straight, smile professional. He greeted me immediately. "Morning. Everything all right with your room?" It took effort to find words. "I don't remember checking in." He laughed lightly. "Long trip? Happens all the time in these mountains." Before I could respond, someone in the lounge caught my eye. A familiar face. Emily Carter, sitting on a couch, backpack next to her, hair in the same neat braid as in the missing persons photos. She didn't look scared or disoriented. She looked like someone waiting for her partner to come down for breakfast. I walked toward her carefully. "Emily?" She looked up. "Yes?" "You're Emily Carter," I repeated, watching her expression, a small, confused frown. "Yeah, why?" "I'm here because you and Daniel haven't been seen in 3 days." She blinked. "That's not possible. We got here last night." "Last night," I repeated. She nodded. "The manager gave us key 12. Room 12. The same room where I'd found the music box and lost consciousness. "Where's Daniel now?" I asked. "In the room, asleep." A small smile. "He drove most of the way." Everything she said sounded casual, natural, terrifyingly natural. "Emily, what year do you think it is?" She gave a short laugh. "Are you serious? It's 1979. My stomach tightened. She noticed my reaction. "You look like you're about to faint. Are you sure you're okay?" I didn't answer, because suddenly I recognized the boy with the map. Not from this case, Lucas Rennings, vanished in 1993. The older couple? Missing hikers from 2004. Every person in that lobby, every one, matched a disappearance from another year, another decade. None of them behaved strangely. None seemed aware anything was wrong. They were calm, settled, at home. The receptionist called cheerfully, "Breakfast until 10, folks." His voice echoed through the lobby like this was any mountain lodge with a functioning staff and satisfied guests. Emily watched me, waiting for an explanation I didn't have. I stepped back, needing space, needing air. If all these people had vanished at different times, and they were all here, then the lodge wasn't abandoned, it was holding them. I forced myself to breathe and turned toward the stairs. If Daniel was here, I needed to see him. I needed to understand what room 12 meant to them and to me. As I reached the first step, the receptionist called after me pleasantly. "Sir, if you need your key again, just ask. You checked in late last night. Room 12, right?" I froze. "I didn't check in," I said. He gave me the same friendly laugh as before. "Of course you did." And what chilled me wasn't the words. It was the certainty in his voice. He truly believed I belonged here. which meant someone or something wanted me to stay. I didn't answer the receptionist. I just nodded stiffly, a reflex more than a decision, and walked toward the stairs. My pulse was hammering so hard, it felt like every guest in the lobby could hear it. I kept replaying Emily's face in my mind. The calmness, the casual smile, the absolute confidence that she'd arrived last night. If she really believed that, then whatever was happening here, it wasn't confusing to them, only to me. Halfway up the stairs, the building felt too quiet, too measured. Every footstep landed the same way, as if the lodge itself was listening. Room 12 waited at the end of the hall. I hesitated only a second before opening the door. The room was empty. Not disturbed, empty. Bed-made curtains drawn. No bags, no clothes. No signs of Emily or Daniel ever being here. And worst of all, no music box. I stepped inside anyway, letting the door fall shut behind me. My own breathing sounded too loud in the stillness. For a moment, I just stood there, waiting for something, anything, to shift. For the illusion to break, for someone to walk in and explain what I was seeing. Nothing happened. I walked to the window and pulled the curtain aside. There was no parking lot, no trees, no mountains, just blackness, not night, not fog. A depthless, absolute black, like the glass was pressed against the end of the world. I swallowed hard and let the curtain fall. I needed to get out of this room. I stepped into the hallway again and started moving fast, checking door after door, looking for something. Any sign of an exit, a fire escape, a service door, anything that connected this place to the outside. Nothing. Not even a seam in the wallpaper where a doorframe should have been. I went downstairs, heart pounding. The lobby still bustled with the same quiet energy. Guests chatting, flipping pages, tying shoelaces, all of them behaving like the world outside the lodge still existed. And yet, there was no front door. No glass panels, no hinges. Just a solid stretch of wall where the entrance should have been. I walked the perimeter of the lobby twice, pretending to be casual while panic scraped at my ribs. The receptionist didn't even watch me. He was too busy organizing room keys that surely led nowhere. I kept looking, circling, searching, until I reached the bottom of the staircase again. And then the weight of it finally hit me. There was no way out because I hadn't walked inside this place. I had woken up inside it. I sat down slowly on the bottom step, elbows on my knees, trying to steady my breathing. The hum of casual conversation drifted over me, unreal and distant. Everyone here believed they belonged. Everyone but me. Somewhere above me, the building creaked. A soft, settling sound, like a house adjusting itself after taking on new weight. I closed my eyes. There was no exit. No path back to the abandoned version of the lodge. No guarantee that time outside was even moving the same way. The truth settled over me with a cold, perfect clarity. I wasn't investigating a disappearance anymore. I had become one. If this story unsettled you, leave a like and let the shadows know. Subscribe for more tales you shouldn't hear after dark. And if you've seen something you can't explain, tell us in the comments. We're always listening.